Hey guys, BJ here. So if you've come from the TikTok, you already know what we're going to be doing for today's video. But if you haven't, we're going to be doing a little review of the Sonic movie 2. So basically, I just want to point out that if you haven't seen the movie, get off this video. After you've seen the movie, then you can come back to the review. But you haven't seen the movie yet, so go watch the movie. You may even get one of these. Okay, anyway, let's actually get into the actual video. So first off, wow, this movie was great. The cinematics were great. The action was great. The story was wow, But there. So here, let me just give you a rundown for before people you start getting confused. Um, so we first start off in the movie where Eggman is basically just trying to start traps and or not traps, but he made a little gadget so he can, sustain his life in the Mushroom Planet from the first movie. If you haven't seen the first movie, go check it out. It's basically everywhere. Hulu. It's on Blu-ray and digital and all like a whole lot of streaming services except Netflix and Disney Plus. But it'll be there soon. I have hope. But we pick up from where the movies ended. Eggman was sent to the Mushroom Planet by Sonic, and then he basically made all these gadgets to sustain his life, so he can, live. But today, Eggman has a plan. As he said, he would be home by Christmas, but turns out he came back a little later. It's from what I've seen, like spring, like it's spring in the movie, but it could also probably be around Christmas time, Thanksgiving. I'm not entirely sure. But after that, we move to Sonic. Basically doing a little patrol looking for crime to stop in the city. He ran all the way to Seattle for some reason, but hey, it's it's okay because we saw one of the greatest action scenes in this movie. When I mean greatest, I mean like for an introduction of the character and you understand what he does. If you haven't seen the first movie, or if you've just now been introduced to Sonic, yeah, he obviously does a little quick stretch and whatnot, and then he's a chili dog, and then he goes to stop a robbery or a car robbery because criminals stole a car, wanted money out of the car, just wanted to hijack the car for some reason, and they had a hostage. So Sonic wanted to stop the hostage and whatnot. So after we move from the hostage situation, Sonic and the guy that was the hostage, basically do the little hijinks. And when I mean hijinks, I mean Sonic basically messed up the whole entire city. Or a city block. And then we cut back to the end of that little chase scene where Sonic runs back to Green Hills and he does a little hello to everybody just to sneak back into the house with Tom, aka Donut Lord, and Maddie, aka Pretzel Lady. After they do all that, we cut to like I'm guessing a few days later or the same day where basically Sonic went on a little fishing trip with Tom. Turns out news there were the news the people in Seattle picked up the news that Sonic has tried to stop a armored truck robbery. And Tom is pretty upset because Sonic is just a kid and he needs to also learn how to channel his powers. And that's basically that's Sonic's character arc in this whole movie. Sonic wants to become a hero and Tom believes he's too young. And later into the movie, which we'll get to, Sonic later believes that well, he's not ready. Sonic believes that he isn't ready to be a hero just yet. He wants to grow up as a kid. But back to the part with Dr. Robotnik. After Robotnik does his final trap, he basically catches these extraterrestrial beings. And there's a little reference to the original design movie, or like how the original movie was going to go out. There was a reptilian bird villain thing, and those were that reptile monster has become three basically. Now this reptile monster isn't an important villain, but it was well not in Sonic 2, but in the original movie it was supposed to be the main antagonist and not Eggman, which is pretty weird to think that it wasn't Eggman as the main villain, but whatever. Anyway, um, the extraterrestrial beings actually use a ring, and after Eggman kind of knocks those beings out, Knuckles comes into the fray and basically sends the two of them back into Earth, to Earth for Knuckles, and then back to Earth for Eggman. After all that, we cut to Maddie and Tom lecturing Sonic, saying that they'll be in Hawaii for a few days, and that he's going to be the man of the house or hedgehog of the house for like 2 days. But Sonic wanted to do a little quick way, give him a little quick way to go to Hawaii faster. So he uses one of his rings. So it was pretty quick, and then Sonic said, "Okay, bye." He did a little bit of chaos in the house, but then after a while, Tom called, checking on Sonic, had to clean up the room. That's not that important. I just wanted to, talk about that. Now back to the actual, the actual important stuff. So after you get the introduction of Eggman and Knuckles, we figure out, or we get introduced to Tails in the movie. Tails is timid, of course, and he also is, a wizard with machines. So he comes to visit Sonic not visit Sonic, but he uses one of his rings, because it's not just Sonic that's able to use rings to walk through different universes. As he said in the first movie, loads of terrestrial beings are able to use the ring, and that's how Tails and Knuckles came to Earth. So after you get introduced to Tails, Tails flies to look for Sonic. And you know who else comes back to Earth? Eggman with Knuckles. So then Eggman goes to Sonic's house, and Tails hides in the bushes so he's not spotted. But after a little power outage happened, and then guess who came back into the fray, trying to kill Sonic? Eggman. So Sonic gets pissed that Eggman has returned, so that he lunges to attack Eggman. Sorry. Oh crap! I'm getting out of the frame. Sorry about that. But then after Sonic lunges, guess who appears? Knuckles. And then Knuckles basically just punches Sonic through a TV. So that shows that Knuckles' powers are similar to Sonic's in one sense, that they both have electricity themed abilities that give them, a little boost in power. Like Sonic, his eyes, in some ways, Sonic's eyes turn blue. I just want to show you guys the figure real quick again. So originally, I basically painted this. Let me just take Sonic off the stand. So originally the shoes were okay. So I want to point out that this isn't my best work, but originally the shoes were all red. So I kind of did a little redesigning on the shoes. I'm pretty proud of it, to be honest. I really like how it turned out. I also did the cufflinks on his shoes. And then the stand, I'm also extremely proud of. I added a little grassy texture to it. So I'm like really, really proud of it. I'm glad that it turned out so good. And this is coming from an amateur. Bladen also got Tails, but I won't be showing that in today's video. So back to the review. Sonic and Knuckles fight. Sonic gets overpowered by Knuckles, and then Tails appears. He comes to save Sonic, and then they get chased by Knuckles. Of course, lots of chaos happens, lots of car destruction, but whatever. And then Sorry. Um, Knuckles actually is pretty close to killing Sonic and Tails, but gets um, yeeted through a cliff, accidentally glides, and climbs up this thing. So then Sonic and Tails escape to Wade's house, or his mom's house, just so they can figure out what this ultimate power is. They find out it's the Master Emerald thanks to Tails, and then they go on a quest through Siberia and then other places so they can get the Master Emerald before Eggman can. So then they do a little dance battle with this one Russian guy to Uptown Funk, and then they get information about the compass and where it's at. So it's in a mountain, and then that's when they get their little fight with another fight with Sonic and Eggman. Of course, we also find out that the Master Emerald is actually an important. It's really important to both civilizations because the Master Emerald has the ability to destroy civilizations, and it was also crafted by the Echidna tribe, so that's why Knuckles is here for it. But um, the Echidnas actually used it for evil. So then the Owls, who basically took Sonic in, um, they took it from the Echidnas because the Echidnas were going to use it for evil. They figured that out from some hieroglyphs while they were walking, and then they see an owl statue, which is actually really important because it shows the lore between the Echidna and the owls, which you kind of see. It was kind of expressed in the first movie and the little introduction to Sonic and Longclaw, and then the Echidnas, but it wasn't entirely explored. But that's what I really like about the movie. Though the pacing can be fixed if in the third movie, if there ever will be a third movie, um, the pacing can go. It needs the pacing with this type of movie can be a little faster, but it also gives good expository or yeah, not expository. It gives good exposition with some of the characters, but it could be a little faster with the exposition. It's not as fast as most people will enjoy. Of course, the movie is still really good with or without the proper pacing, but that's something I believe that they can fix if they ever do a third movie. So after they do a little, and then after they do a little explanation, they gain the compass that is supposed to take whoever wields said compass to the Temple of the Master Emerald, which I'm guessing is basically how Angel Island works in this movie. Since this is the second movie in the Sonic movie universe, if there, it's I'm saying universe because I'm guessing there will be a trilogy and then a quadrilogy and then etc. So that's what I'm saying universe. Um, but for this universe, that's how Angel Island is. It's a whole temple instead of it actually being a floating island in the games. Um, so anyway, after they obtain the compass, Eggman and Sonic or Eggman and Knuckles appear, about to fight Sonic and Tails for the compass. But then they fight with the robots. Sonic breaks a one of the drones just so he can make a snowboard down, and then Sonic and Tails split up. So then they get confused. Knuckles goes after Sonic because he believes Sonic has the compass when it's actually Tails. Um, so then they fight with it's a snowboard chase scene again. Um, so yeah, and then they do some little cocky exposition with Sonic, and then well, not exposition, but like some of Sonic's personality. It shows off in the scene, and then well, we after they stop snowboarding because Sonic gets hurt from Knuckles punching a rock, we found out that Sonic and Knuckles are actually enemies because he's also wanting to kill the hedgehogs for a while. And I'm guessing from what Knuckles has said, he said that he's been training for this his entire life. The Knuckles has some sort of history with Sonic wanting to kill him from the day he was born. because that's, I'm guessing, what they want to do. The Echidna and the owls, they have been at war for many centuries. So then after that, we get a little more exposition from Knuckles. Turns out that his family or his clan have died to Longclaw, and now Knuckles is the last of his clan. It's actually really sad to find out that it's really sad when you actually feel for the characters. When you actually feel for a character in these types of movies, it just shows how good the story is. Of course, that also gets to the pacing. It's not as good as I had hoped with all this story and the dialogue, but it is still, again, 100% overall good movie. Um, but back to that snowboard chasing, the cinematics are beautiful in this. Like, you can actually feel how the characters move whenever like any movement's happening. Like Knuckles punching a rock or Knuckles punching a tree or Sonic, you actually feel what the characters feel whenever this type of stuff happens, and that's what I really, really enjoy about this type of movie. So yeah, we get a little more dialogue with Knuckles and Sonic. Sonic starts to talk about his backstory and how the echidna have ruined his life. And then Tails restrains Knuckles, and Knuckles believes that it was he was being that Sonic was being deceitful when it was actually Tails being misunderstood, believing that it was something else. Tails gets seriously hurt, so then they start snowboarding down a an avalanche because, well, an avalanche has hit. You don't want to go in an avalanche, but I need to go a little back because I've also forgotten that Knuckles and Eggman now have the compass. So now they're on their way to Angel Island. But yeah, back to that. I'm really sorry. Um, they were out after they got the compass, and Avalanche has struck due to Eggman being so freaking loud. Um, due to him being really loud, and Avalanche has hit. So now Sonic and Tails, unconscious, are falling down in an avalanche with Sonic's snowboard. So then after that, Sonic calls Tom. Tom uses one of Sonic's rings, accidentally thinks that it's the wedding ring, and now he has to fight. Now he punches the Maddie's sister because that's the reason why they're at Hawaii. It's Maddie's sister's wedding. So um, Tom punches his husband, and then and then everybody gets shocked. Um, Tom uses the ring. Then Sonic does a little talking. They get kidnapped due to the Gun. Yes, Gun is actually in this movie, and I was really excited when I saw that Gun was in this movie. It was like, oh my god! And then they actually use the acronym, like the actual wording, and they actually call it Gun. And it was like, wow. You'll understand why in a minute. Um, After all that, they get kidnapped. And then the sisters actually used Tails' gadgets because Tails was unconscious and then put in a cage so he couldn't access his bag. The sisters used their Tails' gadgets, knocks out all the yeah, because yeah, and also it turns out Rachel's husband is actually a member of Gun. So yeah, and then everybody dies. Sonic runs to Hawaii or Angel Island, beats up Knuckles. Eggman takes the Master Emerald, and well, lots of other stuff. And then they do a little dialogue talking about how why Sonic saved Knuckles. Sonic saved Knuckles because he's a hero and he does that stuff. And then Knuckles wanted to be a butt saying Sonic lost again and again and again. And then Tails saves them both from Hawaii. And then they do the final fight, and then after they do the final fight, Sonic becomes Super Sonic due to the power of love from his family. And then he does the little thing where he yeah because yeah, and then he made a chili dog full of Knuckles. They play a baseball game after Eggman dies. And then after all that, we find out Shadow's actually in this movie. It was like, oh my gosh, why? How? Why? It was, and they made him so good. The only thing I would have taken off was the band on his stomach. Yeah, he has armor in this. He's in the test tube with armor at the end of this post credit scene, and that's basically the story of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But now to the actual review. Now this movie is a 9 out of 10. The only reason why I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10 is because there is a few things that could be changed that gave it the 9 out of 10 rating. Again, the pacing. Um, Maybe not making all of the characters so goofy. Now I get this. Now I get it's a family movie. The characters have to be goofy, but like the characters that are never goofy in this movie are actually goofy. Like Knuckles, for example. There are parts that show Knuckles being dumb, but it's also giving him that little learny feel. So that's why, yeah. And then there's also the pacing. The pacing it's fast enough at times, but it also is extremely like it's boring. Like when is the next scene again? When is the next scene again? You're waiting over and over and over, and that's something that I believe could change in the third movie due to this movie having one of my personal favorite characters, second to Sonic, Shadow. Sorry about that, I'm really itchy. But yeah, lots of things that there are a few things that could be changed to make this movie a 10 out of 10. But overall, it is a really really good movie, and I would watch it again and I will buy it on Blu-ray the second it comes out, and after we find deleted scenes, beta stuff, all of it. I am extremely excited to see how they do all this stuff with Sonic 3. It is like, wow. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, comment, and let me know what other movie you want me to review next. All right, guys, bye.